Hi, I'm Simon Christie from 4 Wheel Drive TV and your 4x4, and here we are once again in the beautiful Australian outback. But when travelling through these regions, you need equipment that is in tip-top condition, and this winch cable is certainly not in that type of condition. This is a real danger, and in fact steel cable itself can be quite dangerous. It's strong enough and it works quite well, but there are better products out there on the market, and that's why today we'll be fitting up some Dyneema rope. Now, Dyneema rope is an amazing technology and has a massive amount of advantages over steel cable. Some of those advantages are that it's lightweight, it is actually stronger than steel cable, it floats on water, and if it does happen to break, you can simply tie it in a knot and keep going, something you cannot do with steel winch cable. Another beauty of the Dyneema rope is that it has no memory. It can be coiled, uncoiled. It is actually very safe and very simple to work with, whereas steel cable has a lot of memory to it. It's metal, it's hard, and when you do unspool that, it will spool up into coils and can be quite dangerous and difficult to work with. In fact, most people that I know, if they've worked with synthetic cable, they will never go back to steel cable. The big bonus though with the Dyneema rope is that when it does break, it simply drops to the ground. Because it has limited mass, not much weight, it doesn't carry momentum. So it has very little potential energy, so in the case of a break, the rope simply drops to the ground, whereas steel cable can lash through the air with a huge amount of force, take somebody's head off or slice through a vehicle. Quite dangerous. So today, let's get this Dyneema rope fitted to this winch and spooled up correctly. Alright, we've got the cable out, and you'll notice that I've used gloves. Now, gloves are a requirement for all recoveries, but actually a necessity with steel cable because of the splinters you can get can be quite dangerous, quite damaging to your hands. Just have a look at the mess, the knots in this, just pulling it out simply off the drum there, and look at the weight and the lightness. Huge advantages here with the Dyneema rope. Let's get it on. Now, there are only two real negatives to Dyneema winch rope. The first being that it can be damaged if you're dragging it across rocks when you're winching. Another good item is to remember that you can maintain this winch cable by washing it. So if you've been out, especially with a lot of mud, the mud can get in between the fibres and cause a lot of friction and abrasion and therefore damage the rope. So if you have been in mud, get your cable out, stick it in a bucket of warm, soapy water, give it a good rinse and a wash, let it dry out, and re-spool it onto the drum. Now, spooling it onto the drum is the other area where Dyneema rope can cause trouble. When you load the winch rope up, especially in a winching situation, the winch rope can bite down more easily than steel cable into the other rope and get knotted quite quickly. The trick though is to spool the first or even second layer quite neatly onto the drum but under tension, and then the other layers on top of that spool in a zigzag pattern. Therefore, there's no room for the cable when you're winching to bite down into itself and get knotted. Great bit of advice. Let's finish getting this on. Well, there you have it, job done. Now, in an emergency situation, this winch is ready to go. But for real use, we need to spool this on correctly with tension, and that'll be next week's story. Tune in for that one.
For more information, go to www.winchrope.com.au.